By Dr. John Brownstein, Chief Innovation Officer at Boston Children's Hospital. Dr. Brownstein, good morning. It's always great to have you. So the CDC, as we mentioned in an earlier report there, out with that new data showing how much more contagious the Delta variant is than other variants, comparing the transmission to viruses like chicken pox. Help us understand what that means and how much of a game changer is this information?
Yeah, well, good morning, Whit. We do have to acknowledge Delta is serious. It's way more contagious than any other variant that we've seen. It's possibly more severe. And we are learning that, you may be able to transmit if you are symptomatic and vaccinated. And the data from Provincetown is concerning on viral loads in breakthrough infections. But we have to remember, it may not be the norm. We do need more studies to characterize how likely these breakthrough infections can transmit. And we especially don't know if asymptomatic cases can spread. So clearly a lot of fear and anxiety, but the good news is we have a way out. Provincetown would have been way worse without a vaccine. And we know that the case for vaccine is so strong. We see that 25-fold reduction in hospitalizations and deaths with vaccination. And that's really why we're starting to finally see an uptick in vaccinations across the country right now.
You mentioned that report on Provincetown, and I want to go back to that because it also shows that, as you said, vaccinated people can still get the virus and spread it to others, although symptoms much less severe. So what's your message then to those who already got the shot and those who are still skeptical?
Right. The biggest challenge right now is countering this perception that the vaccines aren't working because of these breakthrough cases. Crucially, these vaccines are working incredibly well at preventing severe illness and death. So if you're vaccinated, overall, you should feel very good. Of course, for immunocompromised people, there's still this concern that, immunity may be waning and the booster shot may be important. If you're unvaccinated, the urgency is there. If you're on the fence, please consider getting this vaccine. The surge right now would have been way worse if we didn't have half the population immunized. So we have to really get vaccination up in this country if we're going to counter this Delta variant.
The CDC again recommending masks indoors in places of high transmission, also in schools where many kids still aren't eligible for a vaccine. Is that the direction we're heading in now? More mask mandates even for the vaccinated?
Yeah, well, we have to remember, the unmasking came during the Alpha variant, and now we live in this Delta world. And, it's a reality of where we're at. We're seeing, numbers of cases about the same as where we were last year. Generally speaking, I don't think we're going to see universal mask mandates, but I do think targeted interventions are going to be super important. Masking in schools, especially in areas of high transmission, that's going to be important to keeping our kids in classrooms. But overall, it's going to be about targeted, flexible, nuanced interventions, community by community, and making sure that we're controlling surges, to really reduce risk to those that are unvaccinated and, of course, our vulnerable populations.
I don't have much time on this last one, but the FDA now permitting preventative use of the monoclonal antibody cocktail from Regeneron for certain people who have been exposed to COVID-19. From a practical standpoint, how could this treatment be used before someone gets infected?
This is great. Therapies are not necessarily part of the conversation, but especially this FDA recommendation is especially valuable for those that are immunocompromised and can't mount an effective response. I think being able to bring those therapies into surges, because vaccines take a couple weeks to take effect. So having these therapies could actually control a surge ahead of sort of this increase in vaccination in the community.
A new scientific development in all of this. Dr. Brownstein, as always, thank you so much. We appreciate your time.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.